Alright, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving my MLB DraftKings picks for Monday, August 14th. We've got a 10-game main slate on for this Monday, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so looking at pitching for today's slate, we have two studs on today's slate, two pitchers over 10K, Zach Greinke and Jose Quintana. I don't think this slate's going to be a slate where you want to pay up for pitcher. At least that's not the way that I'm going to go. There's a course field game on the slate, so I think you really want to load up on the bats today. There are some pitchers that I do like that are relatively cheap. They do free you up a ton of salary to where you can fit in some good expensive bats. I think a lot of the expensive bats are going to go off on this slate. So I'm not going to be on Quintana or Greinke today. Quintana, I don't really like his matchup against Cincy. I've been picking on Cincy with pitchers lately, and it hasn't really worked out. So I don't think I'm going to be on Quintana today, especially not at 11.6. I think he's way too expensive. And then Zach Greinke going up against Houston. I haven't took a pitcher against Houston all year, and I don't think I'm going to start here, so don't want to play Greinke. And then after that, just get a bunch of mid-range and value options. There are a couple guys that I can pick out here that I do like. And the first guy that I like today as my SP1 at the mid-range is JERAD at 8K, getting a matchup against the Padres. I really like JERAD today if you're looking for a mid-range pitcher. This matchup's obviously great. Going up against the Padres, one of the worst, maybe the worst offensive team. They're a heavy strikeout team versus right-handed pitching. So far this year versus righties, the Padres are striking out 25.2% of the time, which ranks third in the league. And they're only hitting a 239 average and a 306 WOBA versus righties, so not an offense you're going to fear. So I really like JERAD today. I definitely think he can get me 20 to 25 DK points in this spot. And at just 8K, I will definitely take that. Like I said, I'm going to be going cheap at pitchers, so I'm not really going to be expecting my pitchers to win it for me today. I think the bats are going to win it for me today. I think some of these expensive bats that I like are in great spots to go off. But obviously, we're still going to need some production from our pitchers, and EICKHOFF can definitely get it for us. As of late, he has been solid, so maybe he started to figure things out. He should definitely continue to pitch well, given the matchup against the Padres. Great pitcher's park, heavy strikeout team, not a good offense, so everything's lining up for JERAD to have a good game here. I believe the Padres have a pretty low total as well, only like 4 runs I think when I looked at it, so like JERAD today, just 8K, really cheap price tag. Going with him as our SP1 does allow us to get some expensive bats, get some exposure to course field. So I like JERAD today as my SP1 at 8K. And then for my SP2, really going to be going down to the bottom here. There is a guy that I do like, a very cheap SP2 that we can target today, and that's Jake JUNIS at 5,600, getting a matchup against Oakland. Really like Jake JUNIS today. If we're looking for a value pitcher, now this guy is not necessarily like a really good pitcher, but in his last game against Seattle, he did pitch a very good game. Pitched 8 innings, only allowed 4 hits, 1 run, got 7 strikeouts. Finished with 31 DraftKings points in his last game out against Seattle. And the Royals just called him up after he pitched that great game. They wanted to see if he could keep things going. So you know he's going to want to impress the coaches. So I do like Jake JUNIS here at just 5,600. Obviously the matchup is great going up against Oakland, a team that will strike out a ton versus right-handed pitching. They're striking out 25% of the time versus righties, and they're not really an offense you're going to fear. Only hitting a 242 average and a 322 WOBA. It just ranks right above the Padres. So Oakland is a team that will strike out and not a really good offense. The ballpark is also nice as well for pitchers in Oakland, a very pitcher-friendly park. So I do like Jake JUNIS here. We're not going to need much from him at all to return value. At just 5,600, if he gets me 15 DraftKings points, I'm thrilled with that. Like I said, I think the bats are going to win it for me today. Really like these expensive bats. I think a lot of them have a ton of potential to just absolutely crush today. So going cheap at pitchers the way I'm going to go. The two pitchers that I do like, EICKHOFF and JUNIS, I definitely think they can get me combined 40 DraftKings points. And if they do that and the bats come through for us, could be a really good night. So I do like Jake JUNIS today. If we're looking for a cheap SP2, I definitely think we can consider him at his cheap price tag of just 5,600. When we plug in EICKHOFF and JUNIS as our two pitchers, that leaves us over 45, close to 4,600 remaining per player. So we can pretty much play any bat we want. We have a ton of salary to where we can pay up for some of the expensive hitters, get some exposure to course field, really load up on the expensive bats today. I'm not going to be giving all 3 expensive bats. I will still leave you guys a lot of salary to work with, so maybe you can plug in some of your favorite plays. So I'm actually going to give 1 value play, 1 expensive bat, and then 1 mid-range play. So the first guy I like is going to be at second base. We're going to be going, all 3 bats are going to be from Coors Field. So the value play I like at second base today from Coors Field is Brandon Phillips at just 3,500, getting a matchup against Chad Bettis. Now I was looking into Chad Bettis' numbers over his career. This guy actually has reverse splits. He actually struggles more with righties than he does lefties, which is surprising since he's a right-handed pitcher. But to righties over his career, Bettis has allowed a 371 WOBA. Then to righties, he also will give up home runs, a 1.44 home run per 9 to right-handed hitters over Bettis' career. And he will also give up some hard contact as well, 50% medium contact and 34% hard contact to right-handed hitters. So Bettis really struggles with righties. And I really like Brandon Phillips today at just 3,500. He's too cheap being in Coors Field. DraftKings hardly even raised his price. So I really like Brandon Phillips today. I believe he did homer today on Sunday as I'm recording this video. I think he homered today, so maybe he's starting to get things going. Phillips got 21 DraftKings points on Saturday. Like I said, he homered today on Sunday, so really starting to heat up. So I do like Brandon Phillips today, getting some exposure to Coors Field. He is very cheap. And if you do decide to pay up for a pitcher, I definitely think you can consider Brandon Phillips as a value play. A lot of the Braves bats are very cheap. Pretty much all of them except Freeman are cheap. Inciarte is only 3.8, Phillips 3.5, Markakis is only 3.7, Matt Adams is only 4.1. So a lot of the Braves bats besides Freddie are very, very cheap. So you can definitely still pay up for a pitcher today and get some exposure to Coors with some of these Braves bats. You won't really be able to get in any of the Rockies because a lot of them are expensive, but the Braves are relatively cheap. So I'm looking to get some exposure to their offense today with Brandon Phillips at just 3,500. And then for my final 2 plays, we're going to be going to the outfield. 2 Rockies I like here. The first guy I like, my favorite play on the slate, I think he's going to have a monster game today. And that's Charlie Blackmon at 5,800, getting a matchup against Julio Teheran. Now, if there is one thing we know Julio Teheran does struggle with, it is lefties. Over his career, Teheran, he's just been terrible against lefties. So far this year to left-handed hitters, Teheran's allowed a 346 WOBA. Teheran also gives up a lot of home runs to lefties, a 1.92 home run per 9 to left-handed hitters. Going into Coors Field, Teheran should definitely give up some bombs here, especially to the lefties. Hopefully Blackmon will be hitting one of them. And lefties are also getting a lot of hard contact against Teheran, 46.6% medium contact and 37% hard contact to lefties. So love this spot for Charlie Blackmon. The dude's just a beast in Coors Field. Even on the road, he's still killing the ball. If you just look at his last 4 games, he's been so solid. 14, 20, 11, and 26 DraftKings points. So I really like Charlie Blackmon today. We know Blackmon has a ton of upside. He has the power, definitely has the speed. He will steal bases. Actually stole 2 bases Saturday against the Marlins. So Blackmon can pretty much do it all. Really like him today at 5,800. And since we went cheap, we have a lot of salary to where we can fit him in. So my favorite play on this slate, Charlie Blackmon in the outfield, and I'm going to be locking him in for 5,800. And then for my final play, going to be a mid-range play in the outfield, another guy from the Rockies that I really like today. It's Gerardo Parra at just 4,300, getting the same matchup against Julio Teheran. Now pretty much same thing goes for Parra as it did for Blackmon. Teheran's just a guy that really struggles with lefties, so obviously I'm going to like all the Rockies lefties today. Preferably not Cargo. I've rostered Cargo too many times this year, and he's just giving me 0 after 0. And he's only 3.4K, so since we did go cheap at pitcher, we don't really need value, so don't have to worry about Cargo. But Blackmon, Parra, really like them. Even the righties can still be targeted. The Rockies have an insane total of 6.6 runs, so pretty much this whole lineup minus Cargo and minus Lucroy. I hate Lucroy. I've rostered that dude way too much, and just gives me a countless amount of zeros. So pretty much the 1 through 5, and then maybe if Trevor Story bats 8th, I guess you can consider him for like a wraparound. But love this Rockies team just as a stack. I don't think Teheran's going to last long in this game. He should get blown up. Teheran's really struggled all year. Going to Coors Field isn't going to help him out at all. So love these Rockies today, and I'm going to be looking to get some more exposure to their offense with Gerardo Parra at 4,300. And yeah, so these are my 5 plays for tonight. I went with JERAD, EICKHOFF, Jake Junis, Brandon Phillips, Charlie Blackmon, and Gerardo Parra. When we plug these 5 guys in our lineup, that still leaves us nearly 4,600 remaining per player. So you can pretty much play whoever you want around this 5. Even if you don't think you need Phillips, you can definitely replace him. Maybe if you want to pay up for second base, you could do that because we have a ton of salary. We can pretty much play whoever we want to. So you shouldn't have a problem building a lineup around this 5. Or if you want to get my full lineup, then be sure to follow me on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. My lineups are $5 a day, or you can get a week of lineups for $25. So message me on Twitter if you are interested in that. Or if you just have any questions about the slate, or you need to ask me something, you can contact me on Twitter as well, at the DFS_GOAT. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed. If this is your first time on my channel, please be sure to subscribe. I do make videos pretty much every Monday through Friday and sometimes on Saturdays. So if this is your first time on my channel, be sure to subscribe. We're uploading videos all the time. Definitely trying to get as much content out there for you guys as I can. So don't forget to subscribe. And if you never want to miss out on any videos, if you actually scroll down to where the subscribe button is, there is a little bell icon. If you actually click that bell, that'll notify you every time I upload. So be sure to do that as well if you never want to miss out on any videos. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Good luck tonight, guys. Peace.